47 and 35 during the regular season. They need one win to advance. Right off the bat to Olajuwon with the fall away on the baseline.
That is their nightmare right there, that they're not going to be able to contain him at the outset. Every time he's gotten off to a terrific start, the Houston Rockets have controlled the game.
John Stockton.
What the Utah Jazz want to try to do is be physical. Drexler travel.
Trying to back his way in on Jeff Hornacek. Malone. And Kenny Smith comes away with the rebound. Up ahead, Drexler, back to Smith. Fans wanted to travel. Ori kicks it out. Olajuwon has it go in and out on him, and the loose ball comes to Drexler. Ori for three. And the loose ball out of bounds to the Houston Rockets.
The body language of the Houston Rockets, they seem to be a very confident team. They've even turned down a couple of shots to set up their first attempt at a three-pointer.
Out of bounds to Utah. For some reason, Robert Ori treated that inbounds pass like the plague.
Yeah, he looked at it and touched it and didn't want it, and that's the first turnover and an easy one, and Utah would like to see a lot of those this afternoon.
And a whistle down low is going to go against the Houston Rockets. Fouls on Chilcutt, that's number 1. Hornacek. And Ori with the uncontested rebound. And reaching in, personal foul goes against John Stockton.
John Stockton is first, the Jazz first team.
So just 2 baskets here in the first couple of minutes. 9:52 to play in the first.
In the games which the Houston Rockets have won, Kenny Smith has been very instrumental in getting off very quickly. See if he's aggressive at the offensive end. They attack him.
3-on-2 for the Jazz. Stockton kicks to Hornacek. Malone can't get it to fall. We're still tied at 2.
Well, Olajuwon had a great deal of success against Donaldson in Game 4, pulling him outside.
Drexler's shot won't go down. David Benoit crashes to the court.
Got hit by some Mack truck trying to identify what the number was. He went over in a heap, was slow getting up.
Shot clock at 5. And Stockton on the move. We're still tied at 2. Malone through the foul.
The ball was laid out, and nobody came to get it. Kenny Smith should have reacted to that pass, and they end up with a turnover, and Malone goes at the basket, but they call the foul before he gets the shot away.
Kenny Smith his first. Stockton, top of the key, got it. John Stockton with both Utah baskets and a 2-point lead for the Jazz.
Stockton does not want to be a scorer, and that's what Kenny Smith wants him to be.
Olajuwon. Benoit. Tough shot, got it. Ori now going to work from the low post. Got the bucket and the foul. Benoit, the guilty party.
David Benoit is a guy that really lives off the emotions of the crowd and gives the crowd something to get excited about, and gets that nice jump hook to go, and then against an Alabama teammate gets posted.
Utah's lead is 6-5, coming up on 7:55 to play here in the first quarter. Malone 0 for 2 from the floor so far.
They come back to that same post-up. Ori feels that he can score against David Benoit all day long, and he may be their X-factor. Chilcutt slides in for 2.
Nice look down low by Akeem Olajuwon. And Houston with the lead, 7-6. Hornacek can't find a way in, and now the pass to Malone, his turnaround. Malone still scoreless. We have 7 minutes to play here in the first. Houston with the ball in 1-point lead.
It's a nervous crowd here as Ori gets knocked down on the pick and roll. Wanted to call again, how did I get on my back? As he gets knocked to the floor and a turnover.
Timeout on the floor, 6:54 to play in the first. Houston 7 and Utah 6.
Rockets coming to the Southtown Saturday 30th through June 3rd. Look for official entry forms that participate in Smith and Hardy's location.
They won it.
Somehow.
Reggie.
Well, they got the free throws. I don't know. I didn't see the shot he made.
Oh, he hit the turnaround 3 off the scramble. Will we have them? Yeah. All right. Right.
It's over. Indiana won. Hannah May.
Snapper's really concerned with their turnovers, okay? Rudy T, that's what he's
I would be too. 5 here in the first.
Yeah, that's what he reminded him, take care of the ball. Big deal.
All right. Right.
Bring it back to
Well, on the heels of a terrific Indiana Pacers comeback to defeat the New York Knicks, we welcome you to the Delta Center here in Salt Lake City, where you might say people have gone a little bit crazy over this game number 5 between the Utah Jazz and the Houston Rockets. Greg Gumbel along with Steve Jones and Hannah Storm. We have 6:50 to play here in the first period, and the Rockets are leading Utah by 1 at 7-6.
Part of the early storyline has been turnovers and the inability to get Karl Malone off. Out of the timeout, they get Karl Malone his first 2 at point-blank range. The Rockets turned it over 5 times, and
the whistle blows, and the foul is on Malone, and a late whistle it is from Steve Javie. This series, of course, tied at 2 apiece. This is the 5th and deciding game 5. In the games won by Houston, they have been high-scoring affairs, an average score of 132 to 116. In the Utah victories, the average score has been 98-91, so that tells you how each of these teams wants to play this game 5.
The tempo is important for the Utah Jazz. They would like to be a very physical team. Physical effort by Karl Malone in trying to make a steal. Got Chilcott out with the blood rule as their heads collided. Chucky Brown in the game. Turnover, travel.
That is turnover number 6 for the Rockets. And if you haven't noticed by now, the Delta Center can be a very noisy place, one of the noisiest in all of the NBA.
This is a den of excitement, and the Jazz are hoping that controlling the pace of the game and making big plays is going to get the crowd in it. Chucky Brown picks up a foul against Karl Malone. So Chucky Brown has been in the game all of 30 seconds and already has made a couple of mistakes that have gotten the officials' attention, and Chucky's saying, "You gave me a nice greeting. Let me play."
Hugh Evans, Steve Javie, Hugh Hollins are the officials here today. On the floor for the Jazz, Stockton, Malone, Donaldson, David Benoit, and Jeff Hornacek. An illegal defense called against the Rockets.
It's going to be illegal because Olajuwon was zoning up. He was trying to make sure that John Stockton didn't receive a pass while at the same time not double-teaming Karl Malone.
Neither team really lighting things up from the field, but it's early yet. You see Kenny Smith giving John Stockton room. He prefers to have Stockton score rather than set up scoring, and a foul called.
Travel.
Now it's a travel on Karl Malone.
Both teams have seen examples of physical play and some physical mistakes, and neither team has been hurt as the ball game is close here at the outset. See if they come back to Olajuwon down in the post.
And another whistle, and this time the illegal defense call on Utah.
Warning Jazz. Illegal defense warning to the Jazz.
They want to make sure that they don't get Olajuwon going here early. They're trying to make sure they can get back down and double team.
Here's Olajuwon, the fall away on the baseline. Hakeem Olajuwon with 4 points, and the Rockets lead at 9-8.
You notice how much space Kenny Smith is giving John Stockton. He wants to make him look to shoot the ball.
David Benoit's long-range shot, no. Chucky Brown with the rebound. Here's the kind of game the Rockets want. Kenny Smith on the move. Drexler rejected by Donaldson. Horry with the follow.
Big effort by Robert Horry, and then he hit the floor real hard. His concern in his back, he's trying to run this one off, but he took a real painful fall.
And Robert Horry holding his left hand right now, too. Benoit in the corner, shot clock at 8. Looking for a way around, tries the dribble, and it's out of bounds to Utah. 3 seconds on the shot clock.
John Stockton coming down the lane, steps on the foot of Chucky Brown and turned it a little bit. He comes out, doesn't seem to be affected by it. Normally this is about the time that Jerry Sloan gets him out of the ball game anyway. So if he's got a problem, they'll check it right now.
Olajuwon kicks it back outside, and a travel violation is called. Jamie Watson, a 6'7" rookie from South Carolina, has replaced John Stockton on the floor.
Hakeem told me before the game that people don't understand the new technique in the new game, and he's getting a lot of traveling calls, and there was an example. He said, this is too quick for him, it's too good.
7 Houston turnovers already here in the first quarter. Malone.
And notice that the Jazz are holding the ball in almost every possession. That means they're going to have to shoot a high percentage, but they're letting the clock get down to 9 or 10 before they look.
Drexler. And Hornacek looking for Malone up ahead, got fouled, and that would not have counted. Chucky Brown with his second personal. The foul before the shot went up, at least that's the early indication from the officials on the floor.
Karl Malone is one of the best in the league at getting the ball up once he gets contact. And this was a long pass and a lead. Malone aware of the basket, nice lead. And watch, as soon as he's hit, that ball is in the air. Almost had a chance to go in.
Into the game now for Houston, number 27, Charles Jones, in his 12th season out of Albany State. So Malone shooting 2 from the free throw line. Just 1 of 6 from the floor so far this afternoon.
He's going to get points today. I mean, if he has to shoot 50 times, they're going to have to get Karl Malone some numbers. John Stockton looking on, and he says he's okay. Can't wait to get back in the ball game. Jamie Watson, their rookie, is in.
Malone goes 2 for 2 from the line. Houston by 1, 3:50 to play in the first. Drexler double teams Kenny Smith for 3. Got it.
That's the danger of double teaming either Drexler or Olajuwon. You get their three-point shooters in the game. Kenny Smith gets his first 2.
Kenny Smith is now 16 for 23 from behind the arc in this playoff series. Malone with the turnaround. Got it. Malone has 6. Rockets by 2. And this one's going to go on Donaldson. Donaldson trying to hold off Olajuwon down low.
Whenever you double team, someone's open. Hornacek leaves Kenny Smith wide open, and Smith has the rhythm, the confidence, and his attitude is, you shouldn't leave me like that. They were the league leaders in the regular season.
The Houston Rockets set NBA record for three-pointers attempted and made in a season. 3:05 to play in the first. The Rockets by 2.
That three-point would make him the highest now because Hanson's not playing.
Wait, yeah. All right. On the Utah bench, Karl Malone, who admits this is a most important game in the history of this franchise. No doubt about his approach today.
You know, you never know what rebound scoring going to be, but the effort. And the effort make up for a whole lot. And that's what you got to bring. You got to lay it all out there. You can't worry about the next series. Can't worry about any of that. You got to lay it out there for the defending champion. And if that's not motivation for you, there's no motivation in this game.
Enough said, isn't it, Mr. Jones?
That is enough said, but he loves to play in big games, so you can expect a big performance from him along with Olajuwon.
Spinning on Donaldson, and then the follow away, and that's 6 for Hakeem. 4-point lead for the Rockets. Jamie Watson still in the game. John Stockton still on the bench. And almost the steal by Kenny Smith.
See if they pressure Jamie Watson. He seemed to be a little bit tentative here at the start of the ball game. Benoit with 4 on the clock.
And Olajuwon with the uncontested board. Smith changing directions. Donaldson with his second block of the game.
They're running at Karl Malone almost every time. They're going to get another illegal defense against Charles Jones.
Go back to James Donaldson.
Well, Kenny Smith read the lane was open real quick, but he showed the ball too soon. Donaldson was able to get there even though Smith got knocked down.
The illegal defense, technical foul will be shot by Jeff Hornacek. Hornacek, 9th best free throw shooter in the league during the regular season. And he gets the roll. Working with us also on the sidelines today, Hannah Storm. Hannah.
adjustment in their defensive rotations. They're rotating off Houston shooters, but he said they're leaving them too early. He instructed them not to rotate until Akeem Olajuwon actually puts the ball on the floor. Then he instructed his other perimeter people to step up. What they don't want is guys like Kenny Smith open for jump shots, Greg.
All right, Anna.
Jamie Watson picks up the foul and trying to screen across for Karl Malone. So both teams are making some mistakes.
16-13, Rockets by 3, a minute 50 to play here in the first.
But you look at the score and you say with a minute and 50 to go, this game is at the tempo that the Utah Jazz, the home team, likes. Olajuwon, a call against Antoine Carr.
Antoine Carr draws his first, has contributed mightily off the bench this season for Utah. 6'9" in his 11th season out of Wichita State.
Is it sun in here? He's the only NBA player that wears those glasses. Stockton coming back into the ballgame.
Let's go quickly to Hannah Storm again. Hannah.
Well, Stockton just sprinted in and out of the locker room. It seems that he has sprained that right ankle, and he went back into the locker room to retape it. Now he's back in the game.
All right, Hannah. Olajuwon makes it a 4-point Houston lead. He has 7. And Stockton trying to set up Carr, and Malone with the loose ball.
This is a play that won them the game in game 1. They pick and roll. They get a foul against Charles Jones. Rudy Tomjanovich has been particularly concerned about the way that they defend the pick and roll. Stockton has the ball. You want to try to then turn him toward the baseline. He always manages somehow to get into the middle of the court. If you let him get there, he's going to hurt him with the foul.
Stockton hit the game-winning shot with 2.5 seconds to play in game 1.
You know, he has picked up all of his numbers this year. This has been a special season for Stockton, becoming the #1 all-time assist leader. The franchise winning 60 games, them thinking that this will be the year they get to a championship, and they're sweating it out.
Lob for Akeem, and Carr drew the foul.
Second personal foul against Antoine Carr. They can't afford to lose him very quickly. Not only does he give them defense, but scoring in the low post as well.
The foul is called on Hornacek.
Oh, he's happy about that.
I bet. Game 4, Olajuwon, 40 points, had 45 in game 1. Gets them both. He has 9 on the day, 4-point lead for Houston with a minute 10 to play.
Now, see, they're going to double Karl Malone every time. That means Olajuwon is leaving. Whoever the center is, Hornacek travel.
Trying to get down the lane and weave through traffic. The Jazz turn it over.
Got that look on his face like, that was my move. I have made that move all year long. Never been called, and you call it now.
Last 45 seconds of the first quarter.
Guy yet to score is Drexler. They get him going to the basket. Couldn't cash that one.
Stockton in charge, going to stop and take the 3. Kenny Smith going to hold.
Too deep. This time it'll be Antoine Carr trying to keep Olajuwon from getting that position. That's a second foul. This is a tough assignment. I mean, this guy, even when he was low on iron, was tough to keep out of the low box, and you can see he's able to just get that position, hold the spot. Carr is behind him, and the whistle.
Olajuwon, who has had an outstanding playoff series thus far, shooting 56% from the floor.
He's been wearing whoever's been guarding him out. He's had the kinds of games that harken back to last year when he dominated the playoffs a year ago and the regular season. Missed them both.
11 seconds to play in the first. Stockton looking for one shot. Stockton back to Hornacek at the buzzer. Got it! The Jazz have trailed at the end of the first quarter in all 5 of these games, but Hornacek makes sure it's a 1-point lead. Houston 19, Utah 18. We're coming back for the second quarter in just a moment. This is the NBA on NBC.
This is the NBA on NBC.
Back at a noisy Delta Center, it's no wonder the Utah Jazz were so successful here at home. Only Orlando had a better home record than the Jazz did. We talked about the importance of tempo in this game. Who's in charge of tempo for these guys?
You look at the scoreboard, and it tells you that this game is being played the way the Jazz want, 19-18. And the guy that suffers the most in slowdown games for the Rockets, Drexler, 8 points in game 1, 17 in game 3. Both of those were losses in the games that they won that were high scoring. He had 30 and 41. Sam Cassell in the game.
Cassell, Ori, Mario Elie also on the floor for Houston. Jones and Chilcutt back after the bloody mouth in the first quarter. Benoit way off the mark.
Stockton went down again and seems to be ailing a little bit, but he's going to gut it out. He's a tough guy. Anybody that can play with a broken leg like he did on the Dream Teams can play with the sprained ankle. Game 5.
Ori batted it away, and it belongs to Utah. Let's go back.
In trying to set up right there again, he steps on the foot of Sam Cassell, and as he always can do, he can somehow get his body around and wrap up people. Family not too concerned. And then another day at the office for Dad.
Sure. Where's the popcorn? 19-18 Houston. The winner gets the Phoenix Suns.
The Rockets are doubling Carmelo every time, even tripling him. The Jazz have got to make this shot. They've also got to send a cutter to the basket.
Jamie Watson, second-round draft choice in '94, the rookie out of South Carolina. He puts the Jazz up 20-19. Ori. And the foul is on Ori.
Every time Karl Malone catches the ball, they want to send people at him. You see 3 people go, and that means Jamie Watson is wide open. He steps up, shoots that one like he's been making that shot the entire series, and he hasn't been shooting the ball that well. Malone sits down. Tom Chambers comes in. Now, we have both groups with their reserves out on the floor. The 1 or 2 reserves that step up are going to make the difference between a win and a loss.
Stockton forcing his way inside. Look for the call, doesn't get it. Here come the Rockets. Cassell breezes down the lane, feeds Drexler. First basket of the game for Clyde Drexler, and the Rockets regain the lead, 21-20.
Rudy sees a chance maybe to break the game open. He slid Drexler in on that last time out, and he's getting Olajuwon back at the scores table. See if they double up on Antoine Carr.
Turnaround doesn't fall for Carr, and Drexler has the ball.
Sam Cassell has not played as well in this series as he did a year ago. He feels he's got a big game in him this afternoon.
Drexler. Fouled by Watson. And Drexler will go to the line when we come back. 21-20 Rockets, 9:48 to play here in the first half.
Michael and the Bulls, Shaq and the Magic. Game 1 next on NBC. The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Oldsmobile and your local Oldsmobile retailers. By Sharp Electronics Corporation. From sharp minds come sharp products. And by Castrol GTX, engineered for greater protection against breakdown.
Another beautiful day in Salt Lake City, Utah, and a special day for the Jazz and their fans. Game 5, the 5th and deciding game of this first round Western Conference Playoff Series. The winner advances to play the Phoenix Suns, and the loser goes home. Clyde Drexler misses the first. Shooting 60% from the floor in this series, but today just 2 points on 1 of 5 from the field and 3 rebounds. In fact, the Rockets only 4 out of 8 from the line today, and now 5 for 9. Rockets by 2, 22-20. Greg Gumbel, Steve Jones, Hannah Storm at the Delta Center. Olajuwon back into the game for the Rockets. And Carr going to go to work on it. Tough shot. Tap no good. And saved by Drexler. Cassell already pointing to Drexler down low.
They've got Olajuwon against Carr. Carr's got 2 personal fouls. They're trying to keep him involved in the game.
Drexler for 3. Clyde Drexler makes it a 5-point Houston lead.
Offense is what the Utah Jazz need right now. That means Karl Malone will be coming back in the game. They're gambling that Jamie Watson is not going to beat him. Cassell made a nice strip of the ball and a turnover for the Houston Rockets.
Cassell lost the ball, and Carr threw it away. Drexler with the easy basket.
Clyde has scored the last 8 points, and it's a 20-second timeout. Sloan not happy with the mistakes.
Jerry Sloan wants to settle his club down. Things getting a little too ragged. 8:38 to play here in the first half, and the Rockets have built their biggest lead of the day. It's 27-20. Let's check in right now with Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Well, Snapper, you mentioned that the Jazz need some improvement on the offensive end, and what they've been talking about in their huddles is the fact that even though they trail in this ball game, they do like the pace and tempo of the ball game, which, as you mentioned, is crucial. The problem is they're not being patient enough on offense, particularly in reading the Rockets' double teams. Meanwhile, the Rockets, the emphasis in their huddle has been on the defensive end, putting some pressure on the Jazz passers when they try to enter the post. Guys?
The 8-0 run is all Drexler here at the top of the second quarter of play. Since he snuck back in the ball game, he's given the Houston Rockets a big lift, and now with Karl Malone at the sideline, they want to make someone else try to beat them. The Houston Rockets do. Let's see if they can make a shot come up from outside.
Stockton setting up Chambers, who gets the spin. Reggie Miller 31 in the Pacers' big win at Madison Square Garden. Still to come once we wind things up here. Michael Jordan and the Bulls, Shaquille O'Neal, and the Orlando Magic. Drexler. Clyde Drexler red hot here to start the second quarter. He has 11, and the Rockets lead by 8.
And in the 41-point performance that he had in Game 4, he did not score. Scored 39 points in the 3 quarters after that. So after getting in foul trouble early, went to work, didn't score here early in the ball game, and he's on a roll.
You know, we haven't seen in many of the playoff series around the league much respect for home court, the so-called home court advantage, have we?
Well, we haven't, but, you know, the better teams are playing at this time of the year. They know what they're doing. They've set up for their opponent's weakness, and if they get a good game in, as Houston did in Game 1, they feel that they have an excellent chance to win again. Houston has been a great road team over the last couple of seasons, so they're confident here. Malone
got his way inside and drew the foul. We told you about Orlando, the best record at home during the regular season. Utah, San Antonio, Indiana, all 33-8.
Those are terrific records. San Antonio, Indiana, yet to taste the loss at home, but they're sure that it's coming. But you want to do like Indiana did. Get that first win, put the pressure on the home team.
Adam Keefe is on the floor now, number 31 for Utah. Chilka trying to handle Malone. Quick spin, and drew the foul. Hakeem Olajuwon wants an offensive foul from Malone, and he may have a point.
Well, Karl Malone knows how to draw fouls and knows how to ward people off. This is a beautiful example of an offensive player creating a foul. Watch that lead arm. He goes out with that right arm and just barrels into Olajuwon to make some space and get the call.
First personal on Akeem. And Malone, who has been incredibly durable over his 10th. In his 10th season, Karl Malone has just missed 4 games his entire career. Same with John Stockton.
These two guys have been the staple, the heart of the Utah Jazz. They come to work. They set the tone for all the other people on their team. So playing hurt is order of the day. Sloan was that kind of a player. That makes it much easier for him.
Chambers this time fronting Olajuwon. Olajuwon gets the position, looks for his shot, and doesn't get it. Jazz down by 6, looking to cut into that lead.
What the Rockets want to see the Jazz have to do is use 24 seconds every time to score the ball and see the ball come up from the outside. They don't want that. Got away with the goaltend by Mario Elie.
Cassell down the lane, kicks it back, Drexler. And now Chilcutt for 3. And Chambers with the ball. Chambers taking a moment to yell at the officials, but back comes Utah. Back to Malone. And the whistle blows before he made his move. Chilcutt will be guilty of the foul.
Timeout now. Taken. Timeout.
Here's the gripe.
Tom Chambers lays it up. Now watch the hand of Mario Elie. Knocked that ball off the rim. They went the other way. Stockton is saying that should have been a hoop, and Tom Chambers hot about it.
3 fouls on Pete Chilcutt. We're coming back.
Coming up next, Michael, Shaq, Scotty, Penny. The marquee matchup in the NBA as the Bulls and Magic go head-to-head. Game 1, next.
Sam Cassell of the Rockets, Jeff Hornacek of the Jazz, both hit with double technicals for taunting.
And they got yelling and screaming at each other, and actually came from the previous play, but they made a point to get right in each other's faces. And Karl Malone comes out after getting the call against Pete Chilcutt to shoot free throws. So Malone has made headlines at the free throw line here early. He's going to be able to get the position almost anytime he wants. What the Rockets don't want to do is see him making points from the free throw line.
Malone now 6 out of 6 from the line. And the Rockets lead is 30-26. Drexler. And that foul will be on Hornacek.
Hand check. There really wasn't much room for Drexler to go. They were trying to set up some sort of pick and roll situation, but not enough space right there. So that was going to really work in favor of the Utah Jazz. Tom Chambers is guarding Olajuwon. Let's see if they come back to Olajuwon. He should be able to get any kind of a shot. They're posting up Drexler.
Drexler outside. Mario Elie for 3. And Chambers with another rebound for the Jazz. Jazz back to the bread and butter. And now Malone's going to clear out down low.
He's going to stay in there. There's nothing that Chucky Brown can do. There's nothing that Chilcutt can do. They're much better off just trying to stay behind and wait for the double or the triple team. When they try to body him, watch Chucky Brown's body bend. And he's just not going to get that call. Malone will go back to the line.
3 on Chucky Brown.
You know something about Drexler. And that's what Chucky Brown's going to look like if he keeps laying on Malone like that. I mean, one of the things about Karl Malone is he is incredibly durable but strong as well, and he knows how to hold his position.
Hey, Utah's making some money at the free throw line. They are now 10 for 10 from the line this afternoon, and Malone has 7 of them.
And that is what's creeping them back in the ball game. The Rockets shooting pretty good behind Drexler in the quarter, but he scored all of their points. The Jazz get Malone back in, they get some calls, and they're making the free throw.
The first miss, and loose ball out to Chambers. Malone will double team, finds Chambers on the baseline, and a travel. Chambers took an extra step before he got rid of the ball.
Chambers was wondering where Olajuwon was, tried to get set so he could power up. Olajuwon got back there anyway, but it's a turnover and a saving turnover for the Rockets.
And the Rockets trying to get Robert Horry into the game.
Well, they got a mix-up in the substitution.
So Kenny Smith can't get into the game either. So it's still Jones, Cassell, Drexler, Olajuwon, and Mario Elie trying to figure out now whether he can come off the bench or not.
He was in the game. He was in the game. He's sitting down there telling him he has to come back out on the floor. Horry and Smith are sitting at the scorer's table. They weren't at the box in time.
Mario Elie, number 17, wearing Pete Chilcutt's shoes. Mario wears a size 13, Chilcutt a 15, but Mario has problems with bunions and says he needs the extra room. Olajuwon fouled on the baseline. So I asked Mario before the game, I said, aren't those a little roomy? He says, not in the toes, they're not.
Yeah, he'll also claim the shoes threw him off in his shooting if he doesn't have a good shooting day.
Yes, must be the shoes. Now the substitutions are made. Chambers drew his first personal.
They got to come back to Olajuwon because this is a matchup that they can win and win easily. He's got to look to be aggressive at the offensive end.
Lost the ball. Hornacek recovered. 4-on-1 for the Jazz. Malone. For Karl Malone.
Mistakes have got the Utah Jazz back in the game, and the crowd in it as well.
Olajuwon fade away, hit it again. Fourth time today, Olajuwon has hit that basket. 32-29 Rockets. Hornacek underneath, tipped out of bounds, and it belongs to Houston, and the Jazz are incensed. Look at Jerry Sloan.
And they thought that ball was tipped as Hornacek tried to feed a cutter down on the low post. Back to Drexler on the post.
And an offensive foul on Drexler. And Hornacek is still incensed about the call at the other end.
The feed right there, and it goes right off the hand of Olajuwon. Then Adam Keefe tipped it.
Jerry Sloan says no. Meanwhile, at the other end, Hornacek draws the offensive foul from Drexler and got up to complain about the non-call at the other end. 32-29 Rockets.
And if Adam Keefe hasn't learned one thing, he's learned that you don't get in the face of Steve Javie. Drexler jumps in the path of Karl Malone, gets a charge. So charge is the order of the day. We've seen it on successive possession.
2 personals on Karl Malone. Smith leads for Hakeem. Whistle before the shot.
Karl Malone.
That's Tom Chambers. That's number 2 on Chambers. We have 4:05 to play in the first half.
Penalty situation will come up for the Rockets on the next foul. They come into Olajuwon.
And Adam Keefe and Olajuwon. And a technical foul has just been called on Keefe. And look at Jerry Sloan. And he just got a technical. Stan Javie handing out technicals like they're candy.
You know, Steve Javie has one of the quickest tees in the NBA. Olajuwon across the middle. He gets hit by Tom Chambers on the way up. Then Keefe comes in later, and Olajuwon gave him a little clip on the shoulder. He jumped into his face. Now the technical against Adam Keefe, and Jerry Sloan reacts and gets hit.
would appear the technical to Keith was for taunting. So now we'll get it explained to us in some fashion.
In a game 5 with as much at stake, composure is the key, as we watch Steve Gavin explain to the scoring
We'll shoot the technical fouls first, then we'll shoot the penalty lineup.
We have a personal foul charged to Tom Chambers, his third. It is a penalty situation. In addition, there has been a technical foul assessed to Adam Keefe and to head coach Jerry Sloan. The technical foul.
About the kind of reaction you would expect from the Jazz faithful.
Olajuwon got fouled by Tom Chambers. Technical against Adam Keefe, who said, "Why me and what for?" And then Jerry Sloan a technical
for saying, "Why him?"
and what for?
Jerry Sloan was just telling us yesterday we can't let the officials get in our way in this game.
He said tunnel vision. The team, the players, the coaches that have tunnel vision, that don't get affected by the calls that you get or don't get, will win the game.
Kenny Smith. There's one. Smith with 5 points on the day. Here's what Jerry Sloan had to say to us yesterday as he talked about the importance of his team staying focused.
I think the team that has tunnel vision with officials is probably the strongest team, and that's why they have a chance to win. And if you have that ability to not be affected by a call that you don't get or a call that you did get, you say, well, I'm going to get the next one. If you're not affected by that at all, you're not going to be affected with whatever they do on the offensive end or on the defensive end, because you're competing. You're not thinking backwards.
Well, so far they have been affected by the officials, and they are on the short end of a 35-29 score. Olajuwon hits the second. Let's go to Hannah. Hannah.
Sloan just keeps talking to the referees, trying to get his point across, Greg and Steve, that Hakeem Olajuwon threw a punch, and he felt that that's what they didn't see, that's what they didn't call. But John Stockton going around telling his teammates to calm down and get back in this game and not worry about the officials. Greg?
The tunnel vision that Jerry Sloan was talking about. 3:40 to play in the first half. 36-29 Houston. Tap out of bounds. Still Utah ball. 3 seconds on the shot clock.
3 seconds, shot clock, 3 seconds.
Charles Jones. Let's go back to that play and see if Hakeem Olajuwon did indeed throw a punch.
Doesn't throw a punch, but it's a glancing blow. Watch him come across the middle. Arm goes up, and as his arm came down, it just fell on the shoulder. It really wasn't a punch. Now, from where Sloan was looking, and I need every advantage, I need him out of the game. You don't want to foul Karl Malone shooting deep against the shot clock. That's what Charles Jones did. He misses for the second time.
36-29 Houston. And now a 6-point lead. Rudy T says timeout with 3:35 to play in the first half. It's the Jazz kind of pace, but the Rockets have the lead.
You're watching the NBA playoffs on NBC.
Well, here's what's coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report. We'll revisit the ending, an unbelievable ending at Madison Square Garden as the Knicks lost a 6-point lead with 18 seconds to play. Reggie Miller scored the last 8 points as Indiana stunned New York 107-105. We'll have reaction from both teams and the comments of Bill Walton, Julius Erving, and Peter Bessie. Plus, we'll hear from the 3 centers of the Chicago Bulls as they prepare to face Shaquille O'Neal and the Magic in the final game of today's triple header. That's all ahead. Right now, back to the Delta Center to rejoin Greg Gumbel and Snapper Jones.
All right, Bob, and there is Karl Malone, who has been a more frequent visitor to the free throw line in the postseason. He averaged 8 free throw attempts a game during the regular season, 15 a game so far in this series, and he's already been there 10 times today.
Yeah, he's gotten a terrific opportunity to score some cheap points for the Jazz, keep them close, and he's done all of that.
Drexler for 3. Clyde Drexler has 14 points, all in the second quarter.
Olajuwon gave him just enough space. He can jump over Hornacek, so he knows he can get a shot away.
Benoit left open for the 3, and he answers back. 39-33, under 3 minutes to play. Donaldson trying to keep Olajuwon out of position down low.
And when Olajuwon comes out here and they clear the floor, he's got a clear advantage. They're going to double him, turnover, and an easy one. That should have never happened.
Clyde Drexler has just been on fire in the second quarter after a scoreless first period. Uses the screen from Olajuwon and hits the long range. David Benoit, Steve, you pointed out, feeds off of the crowd, answers at the other end.
And Benoit has to make those shots. He knows it because they're going to leave him to try to make sure that Karl Malone or Stockton don't hurt them.
Trying to lob for Malone, and the foul is on Charles Jones.
Either end of the floor, you can almost call a foul every time down against the person that's guarding Karl Malone or Hakeem Olajuwon. And every time Malone goes in, they're trying to disrupt him, keep him from getting that space. Karl Jones picks up another one. That's his third.
And this is just the guy you don't want at the free throw line if you're playing the Utah Jazz, as Pete Chilcutt comes onto the floor. All time per game, Karl Malone and Bob Pettit. That means you're getting the ball down low, you're getting fouled.
Crowd just told John Stockton that they would get him the games at their tempo. Malone's starting to miss. After he had a run of about 6 in a row, he's been 50% since.
Getting a little arm weary. Robert Horry. Feed for Clyde Drexler. 16 for Drexler, all here in the second quarter.
That's a tough play and a tough matchup for Hornacek. On the move, Drexler with strength and legs threw that one down.
2 minutes remaining, 2 minutes.
Hornacek going to try to set up Malone. Malone with the turnaround. And saved by Chilcutt. Drexler on the baseline, got fouled. Let's go back to that nice little move by Clyde Drexler and Jeff Hornacek's nightmare.
Well, it's a sweet pass from Horry. Leads him right to it, and it's a catch and a throwdown for Drexler. But he's been wreaking havoc on Hornacek and the Utah Jazz here in the second quarter. Just got fouled, a chance to push his total to 18, but he misses his first free throw.
A year ago, these two teams met in the Western Conference Finals. Houston eliminated Utah in 5 games.
Zan Tabak is in the ball game. Chilcutt goes down. Rudy's going to have to use all of his people. He's only got 10 of them, and all of his big people are getting fouls against Karl Malone.
Jan Tabak, a 7-foot rookie from Croatia. He's missing Vernon Maxwell, who's been given a leave of absence for personal reasons, and Carl Herrera lost for the rest of the playoffs with a dislocated shoulder. Malone.
Malone with 17, 11 in the quarter, but Olajuwon now guards him in some situations at the other end of the floor.
Olajuwon, the fadeaway on the baseline. 1:10 to play, first half. Malone, again. 19 for Karl Malone.
Olajuwon has a fadeaway, so does Karl Malone. Malone right now telling the crowd, get into it.
And they're on their feet here at the Delta Center. Shot clock at 4. Kenny Smith, top of the key. Loose ball, Horry with the basketball.
And Kenny Smith saying his fault. They should have had that one. Now they'll hold for 1. See if they come to Olajuwon, who got knocked down and no call the last time.
Hakeem across the lane, dishes off to Bach, back outside, Horry, long range, no. 5 seconds for the half. Hornacek for 3. Offensive foul on Robert Horry. 0.7 to play. Benoit to inbound. Hornacek lets it go.
With 0.7 seconds, enough time to get away a legal shot, and Hornacek is the kind of guy that can get that shot away, knocks it down, and then this is what preceded it, and the crowd went wild.
44-42, the Jazz in the lead at halftime. We'll be back to the studios in New York in just a moment.
This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Halftime at the Delta Center. The Jazz leading the Rockets in the decisive game, 44-42. Karl Malone with 19 points. Hakeem has 13. Drexler has 17 for the Rockets. Bob Costas back, along with Julius Erving, Peter Vesey, and a surprise visitor, Bill Walton, just back from Madison Square Garden, where he was part of the broadcast of that wild Knicks-Pacers game. Indiana amazingly won it, 107-105, after a bizarre ending. The Knicks appeared to have it all sewn up. They led by 6 with under 20 seconds to play, 105-99. Indiana had the ball as we pick it up, and obviously their objective is a three-pointer. They get it to the guy who can do it, Reggie Miller, and he quickly puts it down. Then watch on the inbound. They're nearing a 5-second call. Anthony Mason, a moment of indecision. He thinks Anthony's open. Anthony slips down. He tries to lob it back in. Miller swipes it, retreats behind the line, and ties the game. So 2 quick three-pointers. But watch what happened. Miller nudged Anthony down, then held his hand up as if, oh, no, I didn't foul him. There was no call. And, in fact, after the steal, he is able to hit the 3. But then Sam Mitchell perhaps foolishly fouled John Starks, but Starks did not make the Pacers pay for it. He didn't score a single point in the second half. He missed them both. But the Knicks get another chance. Ewing, a dead-on try. Then Miller grabs the rebound, and after he already had control, Anthony Mason reaches in and fouls him. Pat Riley can barely believe it. Miller does not do what Starks did. He cans them both, but still there's enough time for the Knicks, though they have no timeout left, so they have to go the length of the floor, and Greg Anthony is going to slip down, and by the time he rolls the ball in desperation to Patrick Ewing, time has run out. The Pacers have pulled out what could be, depending upon the outcome of this series, one of the most memorable playoff victories in league history. Here's post-game reaction, starting with the hero, Reggie Miller.
Last year, I'm not going to lie, coming in here for the Eastern Conference Final, we didn't think we could win. We feel we can sweep this team. This is for you, Indiana. We're coming back. Yes!
I'm hopeful that, we understand we stole this one, and we still have an opportunity on Tuesday, and we can play better.
I've been around basketball for a long time, watching it and playing it, but I have never witnessed anything like this in all my years. This was just a phenomenal win.
We played our asses off, played our hearts out to get a win, and simply gave it away at the end. And, you got to finish strong. You can't assume that they got to hit a 3 just to get, got to hit 2 threes to tie it, and it's impossible. Today was an indication of, you know, miracles through, you know, just not finishing a game cost us dearly.
All the pressure's on them. You know, we're loosey-goosey. No one, you guys don't expect us to beat New York. We're the only ones who feel that we can beat New York. So all the pressure's on them.
And game 2 is Tuesday at the Garden. Bill, how did this slip away from the Knicks?
Poor timeout management. They burned them all trying to keep possession early in the game, and then Anthony Mason doesn't run the baseline to try to get the ball inbound as Patrick Ewing is heading off down the court. In that situation, the big guy always comes back and goes high in the air, snatches it. Game over.
Doc.
Well, I think when the Knicks look at the game film, they're going to wonder how they got the lead in the first place. I think for 3 quarters or more, the Pacers were in control of this game, powered behind Rick Smits, and then they gave the game to the Knicks and snatched it back with 16.5 seconds with Reggie Miller's heroics. But it was a giveaway situation today by both teams. Pacers first, and then eventually the Knicks.
And the Vesey reaction?
Clearly, Mason panicked. You wonder why he didn't bang it off Mitchell, who turned his back to him, pick up another 5 seconds there to try and inbound again. And then just as clearly, John Starks appled up, missing those 2 free throws. And then you've got Reggie Miller's comment. Everybody wants to be an underdog in these playoffs, but now he's saying they came to sweep the Knicks. Nah, Reggie doesn't exaggerate, does he? No.
You know, this is the kind of moment, depending upon how the series turns out, that can help make a player's legend. I don't want to overstate that, but you think of any legendary athlete in any sport, and Reggie Miller hopes to someday be in that class. They usually have a moment or two. It isn't cumulative statistics alone. It's a moment or two that's fixed in everybody's memory. This could be a moment like that for Reggie Miller.
Much the way Larry Bird's stealing the ball of Isaiah Thomas and Bill Laimbeer in the Celtics series in '87 or '88, whichever year it was. But this is a situation now where the Knicks just crushed psychologically. They've got a rebound. They're one of the toughest teams mentally. I think they can get back.
Well, depending upon the outcome, again, this could rank with the all-time great playoff steals with Havlicek, with Bird, with Gerald Henderson in '84, and today, Reggie Miller with the 2 threes and then the 2 free throws. Up next, we'll talk about our final game of the day between the Bulls and the Magic as we hear from the 3 centers of the Chicago club. That's after this message from Prudential and a word from the NBA. As we usually do, we trace Michael Jordan's steps from the car or the bus, whatever the case may be, into the visiting arena. Here he is arriving at the O-Arena. The scheduled tip-off for Game 3 of our tripleheader and Game 1 of the Magic and the Bulls is 5:30 Eastern Time. That's following the Rockets and the Jazz, and there are all kinds of interesting storylines, but here we're going to focus on the Bulls' centers. Yes, they're centers. Luke Longley, Will Perdue, and Bill Wennington. They're the ones that have to try to contain Shaquille O'Neal. Peter Vesey has the story.
Together, they average nearly 20 points and 15 rebounds a game in the regular season. Together, they are veterans of 22 NBA campaigns. Together, at over 21 feet and 760 pounds, they've been tagged as the Bulls' 3-headed monster.
We're playing with a committee against a guy that's playing, you know, by himself. Usually the committee wins. There are going to be nights that you know, the individual wins, but more than not, the committee's going to win.
In this case, the committee is a gang of 3, tag-teaming Chicago's pivot opponents.
There's a little bit more pressure. You can't make too many mistakes, because you make a couple mistakes and it's easy to go to the bench. There's 2 guys that sit there and play, so there's a little bit more pressure on you to perform well.
You know, that's the good thing about 3 guys, is you do always get at least 1 or 2 guys that are on their game. You know, it's not like there's just one of us really playing, and if one of them has a bad night, then we're you know, up the creek.
Fresh off their battles with Alonzo Mourning, the Bulls trio, armed with 18 fouls to unload, now must face yet another marquee challenge in Shaquille O'Neal.
You can use up 18 fouls really quick. I mean, Shaq's going to get the ball 30 times in a game. If you foul him the first 18 times, you're not in the game the rest of the game. You know, you'll be out of the game by halftime, and then, you know, so you can't just go out there and just start hacking away at people.
And if he beats us from the free throw line, then that's where he beats us from. You know, he doesn't beat us with his monster dunks and his spin moves and his little hook shots. You know, he beats us from the free throw line. If that's what we have to do, that's what we have to do.
But toiling in relative obscurity in their blue-collar roles is also made somewhat easier away from the glare of the spotlight that perpetually shines on number 45.
Teams aren't stressing. Their main focus is not going to be stop Longley, Wennington, and Purdue. It's going to be stop Jordan and Pippen, and Kukoc, and then you worry about B.J. Armstrong, Steve Kerr coming off the bench, and then it's like, well, the centers, don't worry about them. We can double off them a little bit, and then it kind of helps you out a little bit because they're not thinking about you. They're not gearing their defenses towards you.
For these three guys, another day at the office means sharing a bench, waiting for their turn in the paint.
There's an awful lot of stuff that we're responsible for that doesn't necessarily show up on the sports reel, but we're proud of what we do, and I think that I think if you ask Scotty and Michael, they'd say just the same thing, that without us, the whole thing wouldn't go. So I enjoy it. We all enjoy it. It's a good role for us.
Well, the Bulls and their pivot trio have already gotten by Alonzo Mourning. Now it's Shaq. If they survive that, it's either Ewing or Smits. And if they get past that, very possibly in the finals, David Robinson. Let's turn to our own center here. All the stars on the Bulls, but in a strange way, this group of three journeymen holds the key.
They have no chance of outplaying Shaq, but that's not the goal. The goal is to do something out there the way Brad Daugherty used to do that. But come out here and just do something, make contributions. Most importantly, rotate offensively and be a short jump shooter at Pippen's and Jordan's penetration to the hoop, and then force Shaq into tough shots. Don't make silly fouls, because it's their fouls that are going to be used, not Jordan's and Pippen's.
Okay, game one of Chicago and Orlando a bit later. Right now, the Jazz leading the Rockets by 2, and we'll send it back to Greg and the Snapper for the second half after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Utah 44, Houston 42 as we get ready for the second half. And as we look at the second half statistics, what jumps out at you, Steve?
The one thing that really jumps out is the rebounds. The Rockets have had an advantage there. The fact that Karl Malone has spent a lot of time at the free throw line to get a lot of his points.
Meanwhile, for the Houston Rockets, Clyde Drexler has had a pretty good first half. He and Hakeem Olajuwon have totaled 30 points. Remember, they each tallied, 40 and 41 respectively in Game 4 victory that sent everything to this decisive game here this afternoon. Second half coming right up.
And a sword back at the Delta Center for the second half of this game. 5, Jazz lead by 2. Rockets admitted that their momentum was hurt terribly by that flurry of shots that the Jazz had just before the half. But Rudy Tomjanovich said they're not panicking. He thinks they played 23 minutes of great basketball, 1 minute of helter-skelter basketball, and that is what he is preaching to his team. Mental toughness. Don't get into that kind of game in the second half. Greg?
All right, Hannah, there is no question which team had the momentum going to the locker room. The Jazz finished on a 10-0 run and hit 7 of their last 9 shots from the floor. That included a pair of 3-pointers from Jeff Hornacek. And the Delta Center gets noisy again.
The Rockets have done a tremendous job of really limiting Hornacek, Stockton to getting any good looks at the basket. So they want to try to do the same thing. Hornacek is the type of player, when he catches fire, he can knock them down from any angle and any position.
Chilcutt, Kenny Smith, Drexler, Olajuwon, and Robert Horry. And now Olajuwon is hurt. And Horry slams the ball down, but let's check on Hakeem Olajuwon, who is grabbing his left wrist.
He was hooked with James Donaldson, and on the way out of there, started grabbing the hand and then just went to the floor in pain.
Well, the Houston Rockets already crippled by the loss of Vernon Maxwell and Carl Herrera can ill afford to lose last year's MVP in the postseason.
You'll see them hooked up right here, and he comes around, and right there on the elbow, came out of that, holding the arm.
It's still tough to see how he hurt it or what he did to it. Trainer Ray Melchiori working on him.
Well, you know, if you hit that funny bone and you hit it just right, it can deaden everything. It can be one of the most excruciating types of pain.
Let's check in with Hannah.
Well, trainer Ray Melchiori says this is nothing more than a hurt funny bone, actually, that he just hit his funny bone, although Hakeem does wear the big pad on that elbow. He's had trouble with that elbow in the past, but they insist it's nothing serious. Greg?
All right, Anna, so our king of funny bones, Steve Jones, called it as soon as he saw it. Horry makes it a three-point play, and the Rockets have regained the lead, 45-44.
Good pressure by Kenny Smith, but they're going to have to drop in and make somebody else a shooter.
Hornacek dishes off for Malone. Jazz by one. Drexler on the drive. Malone has the rebound. Here comes Utah. Stockton. Hornacek. Did not take the three. Instead goes down low to Malone. Benoit for three. The Jazz by 4. Kenny Smith answers with a three of his own.
Benches have not been much of a story. This is going to be a ball game where the 10 guys that started, 5 on each team, are going to have to get it done. Hornacek.
What a circus shot by Jeff Hornacek. Fouled on the way to the basket, threw it up, and he'll go for the three-point play.
I told you the last 7/10 of a second got Hornacek going, and these are the kinds of shots that he's capable of making once he starts on a roll. Just threw it up, hit the right spot.
Back in November, Jeff Hornacek hit 8 straight three-pointers, an NBA record, in a game against the Seattle Supersonics. Horry, and whistle blows. He was fouled as he began his move.
Now that's one of the ways to get Benoit and his three-point shooting out of the ball game, get him in foul trouble. That is the 4th personal foul against David Benoit, so he's going to have to come out. They come back to Robert Horry. Maybe they'll get the 5th.
Drexler for three. Clyde Drexler continues the hot shooting. He has 20, and the Jazz lead is 1. That one batted out of bounds by Drexler.
The concern is that the Houston Rockets three-point shooters are wide open. Hornacek comes flying, but it doesn't bother the concentration of Drexler. He knocks that one down.
Benoit and Donaldson out. Antoine Carr and Adam Keefe in. And it's still Utah ball.
Now, Adam Keefe is the ultimate garbage man. He's the guy that just hangs around, gets loose balls, really comes up with good offensive rebounds. Robert Horry's job will be to keep him off the glass.
Stockton, Carr. Keefe battling out of bounds to Utah. You know, the interesting thing about this game from Utah's perspective, John Stockton has not been a big factor so far. He finished the first half with just 6 points and 3 assists, and that's subpar for him.
No, it is, and he hasn't been able to really involve the other people. The Rockets had done a real good job of controlling the Utah Jazz until the final seconds of the first half.
Carr. Stockton, short. Carr with the rebound and back out front.
Now, those are the rebounds the Rockets have to have. Those are long rebounds that can push them into an open court, and instead, the Jazz and Stockton get a new 24.
And Olajuwon back into the game and on Stockton. There's a mismatch somewhere. And now Olajuwon helps double down. Back outside, Stockton. Got it. 8 points for John Stockton. 3-point lead for Utah. Olajuwon on the nice lead from Kenny Smith. (54-53) Utah.
They used the guards to free up Karl Malone, and he's spun Chilcutt around. They're going to have to send some people to get him off the box.
Carr, Keith, batted out of bounds by Horry. Let's go back to Hakeem.
Olajuwon has been able to hold his position, and he wants the ball over the top. They finally get it for him. A little slow in controlling, but an easy score once he does.
Stockton snakes free and missed the layup.
Good play. Didn't have quite enough legs to get it up. Shot it underneath the rim. Rockets saved on that inbound play because somebody went to sleep.
And Houston now with a chance to grab the lead. Kenny Smith for three. And out of bounds to the Jazz. Is this an excited place? The Delta Center. For Jazz fans thinking perhaps this could be their year if they can get past the defending champion.
If we had a heart monitor and hooked it up, it'd be the loudest noise heard across the country. They want to get out of this first round. They know this is a difficult matchup.
Hornacek. Fouled by Olajuwon. That's 2 on Hakeem.
Work. Drexler stripped him of the ball, but that strip bounced right to Carr, and he attacked Olajuwon.
Antoine Carr shooting at an 83% clip from the free throw line in the postseason. Shooting team in the NBA during the regular season stretches its lead now to 3. Drexler behind his back to Olajuwon. Shot clock at 4. Hakeem with the jumper. Hakeem Olajuwon with 17. And again, a 1-point game.
The idea is to back screen Karl Malone to get him down low. They do that. They want to make the defense of the Rockets react to Malone's presence down low.
Malone, turnaround. Big rebound by Keith.
And that's what Adam Keith does for him. He gives him extra opportunities. He'll always be the guy around the ball when it goes up off the window.
Stockton tries the pick and roll. Doesn't work for Carr. Almost a giveaway. Stockton throws up the 3.
Which beater buzzer do you like the most? Is that
5:55 to play in the third. Drexler three-pointer on the way. No, and Malone for the rebound. Long lead. Carr. And the whistle is on Pete Chilcutt. Utah hustled its way back up the floor. 4-point lead for the Jazz, and we'll be back.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Powerade, the official sports drink of the Olympic Games. By Jeep, makers of Grand Cherokee, Cherokee, and Wrangler. And by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place.
A scavenger wouldn't be the right word to describe Adam Keefe, but he's the kind of guy that just picks up loose stuff. It was an extra opportunity, which turned into a three-point shot for John Stockton against the clock. So if it's a beater buzzer, they're buzzer beaters, and we've had plenty of them in this ballgame.
Antoine Carr with a miss from the line for Utah.
if you're Robert Horry, you got to remember that that's the strength of Adam Keefe, going to the glass. You got to stay between him and the hoop. He has an knack of getting to the ball.
Carr goes 1 for 2. The Jazz with a 5-point lead. And 5:40 to play in the third. The winner plays Phoenix. Chucky Brown looked like he traveled up at the top of the key.
Trying to get the ball to Olajuwon now. Carr did a nice job of fronting Olajuwon.
Fronts him again. Drexler with a 3. And that's out of bounds to Utah.
The last 2 possessions, the Rockets showed a little nervousness, a little tentative play. See if they can step it up on defense and make a stop and reassert themselves.
Malone. Got it. Oh, Malone has 23. For a 3. And the whistle blows. The foul is on. Chucky Brown. We remind you next on NBC, a prime time matchup is the finale of our NBA playoff tripleheader. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and the Bulls to the arena to face Shaquille, Penny, and the Orlando Magic. That's coming up next on NBC if the Utah fans ever settle down.
Stockton goes out. Jamie Watson comes back in, but the momentum that the Jazz had at the end of the first half is built into a flurry. The Rockets have to answer and answer quickly.
Kenny Smith had it stripped, and Malone has the ball and calls timeout. And it's a 20-second timeout. A 20-second timeout for the Utah Jazz. Let's watch it again. Kenny Smith probably thought he was fouled.
You never want to let an opponent get the home crowd in it, and the Rockets let them off the floor. Now they've got to grind it out, but Malone has some of the quickest hands in the NBA. Slapped that one away, was able to get down and call the timeout.
Utah Jazz, you see those signs all over town that this is our year. And we talked to several of the players yesterday, Steve, and talked about how big a day this is in the history of this franchise.
This is the biggest day because they've had their best season ever. They've had a great number of individual accomplishments as well as team, and to lose this game, it all goes down the drain.
Malone, quick turnaround.
This is where they're hurting themselves right there. Olajuwon should have had that rebound, didn't he? He's looking through the officials right now. He's got to get tunnel vision. He's got to get back in the game.
Hornacek with Olajuwon on him up top. Cross court, Malone gets a man in the air, puts up the shot, and draws the foul.
Chucky Brown went by. Robert Horry went into him, and Robert Horry now got 4 personal fouls.
And the mailman is back at the free throw line. He is 9 out of 12 from the line today. And he comes up short. We talked earlier about the pace of this game and how the Rockets like high-scoring affairs. With 3:48 to play in the third and Houston with 55 points, it doesn't bode well for them to be over the 100-point mark, and Utah is 50-2 when the opponent is under 100.
Oh, no, the Jazz like this pace, and they felt that if they could get a break, and they did just before the intermission, they could get into the game. Both teams came out with some big shots, and then the Rockets blinked, and they haven't recovered. Now's the time where they've got to settle down. They're only down 8, plenty of time. They want to try to end with a flurry of points themselves.
The lob for Olajuwon. Tries to get the shot away, and he draws the foul. There you see the Indiana victory, a rare victory for the Pacers at Madison Square Garden. What a game turned in by Rick Smits today.
Smits and Miller had huge games before Smits fouls out. He's got 34, and then Reggie with the big 8 points at the finish. Olajuwon started off with a terrific start, like he was going to have an unstoppable afternoon. And suddenly he's allowing the Utah Jazz big people to push him around, and I think it started with the elbow. He hasn't been nearly as aggressive in trying to get his spot and hold his spot. When he went down with the funny bone problem, it's affected him, and we'll see how long it takes him to recover and get back in it.
Olajuwon, 7 for 10 from the line, 19 points.
It's a 6-point game, so it's not like the Jazz have run away and hit. Trying to come back to Malone, keep the pressure on the Rockets.
Karl Malone to Adam Keefe.
Now that's what happens when you double team and triple team. Somebody's going to be open.
And Kenny Smith wants timeout. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
How do you handle double and triple teaming? Here's Karl Malone right here. The double team will come from there and down in here, and if we let it clear, you'll see all the people converge on Karl Malone. How do you beat it? A cutter to the basket. Adam Keefe with 2 hands over the top, and it's sweaty palm time for Rudy T.
The Rockets out-rebounded Utah 22-15 in the first half. Here in the third quarter, it's a 7-2 advantage. Kenny Smith 3 comes up short. Utah has the ball. 8-2 rebounding edge here in the third quarter for the Jazz.
What the Rockets want to do is survive this quarter, and they need to try to keep this game under double digits as they come back to Karl Malone. 3 people on Malone.
Carr. Blocking foul on Mario Elie. Let's check in with Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Rudy Tomjanovich is concerned with the Rockets' offense, particularly when the Jazz front Akeem. He says that the Rockets are not able to get into that high-low game that he wants them in, so he's looking for better spacing on offense, and he keeps emphasizing, keep your poise. Do not get into that helter-skelter game I was talking about at halftime, Greg.
Thanks, Hannah. It's a legitimate concern for Rudy T.
Well, it is a legitimate concern, but the way you do it is you don't hold the basketball. If they're fronting, you swing the ball. You can get it to Olajuwon, or someone's going to get an open shot. The problem for the Rockets is they're not making a 3-point field goal right now. They had a run early where they were making the shot, staying in the game. They've dropped down by 10.
Coming up on 2:20 to play in the third. Olajuwon spins through the foul. The basket does not count.
Yeah, Carr doesn't like the call, but they'll take the results because they take the basket away. He beats them with the spin and the extension for 2. They just inbound the ball. Kenny Smith comes out of the ball game. Sam Cassell comes in, different kind of a player. We'll see if Cassell can create some penetration. He's a tough player when the money is on the table.
Drexler on the post. Cross toward Elie for 3. And Adam Keefe with a rebound, and he's guilty of the foul.
People ask, why are the Utah Jazz better? Adam Keefe is an example. In past years, Jerry Sloan did not have people that could come off the bench and make something happen. Keefe, in this short period of time that he's been in the ball game, has been a factor. They wish David Benoit was back out there right now. They wouldn't have to deal with Benoit jumping over backs and keeping balls alive. He's a different kind of a player, much better in an open court and a sprinting type of game.
You told Jerry Sloan yesterday, and he agreed with you, this is the best bench he has ever had in his 7 years here in Utah.
There's no question, and this is why they were able to produce the record. In past, you look at that bench and you'd say, there's no way that he's going to get any help, and they didn't in big games.
Coming up on a minute 45 to play in the third. Carr back outside to Watson. 6 on the shot clock. Malone. with 2 on the clock. Got it.
You only have to see Malone play in big games to understand why they call him the mailman. He loves huge games.
Sam Cassell shot off the mark. Keith with the rebound. Jazz with a 10-point lead, looking for more. Foul on the play as Hornacek made his move. That's 2 on Clyde Drexler.
The bench has been huge for the Utah Jazz, and you can see that the Rockets are getting nothing from their bench, and it's a struggle. Right now, I don't like the body language of the Houston Rockets. They are acting like they've lost the game. They've lost control of the game, but they haven't lost control of a chance to win the game. There's 13 minutes and change left, and they've got to suck it up and really become the aggressors. They have allowed themselves to become passive, and Utah running away.
Chucky Brown has the only 2 points off the Houston bench so far this afternoon. Hornacek gets 2. 71-59. Hornacek with 15.
They've done a better job at pressuring the ball, and it's made it difficult to enter the ball. That time they finally get it over the top. Olajuwon with 8 1/4.
And 21 on the day. Last 40 seconds of the third quarter.
It was the last 40 seconds of the second that killed the Rockets.
And whistle blows. That's Karl Malone, a little upset.
Olajuwon has had this position, but they haven't been able to get him the ball. They finally do. For Jazz converge. Too late. He throws it down.
Meanwhile, at this end, Chucky Brown has been called for his 5th personal foul.
Slow start from Malone, 6 in the first. Then he really got going in the second quarter, 13. He has 7 now with a chance to pick up a couple more. Doesn't like the ball.
Karl is having his say.
Drexler had stepped in when he got the ball. He didn't want it then. Drexler has to either stay or get out of the lane.
Didn't get the roll. Charles Jones into the game. Chucky Brown takes a seat with 5 personals. Missed them both. Drexler back in a hurry. Cassell didn't take it. Drexler will from 3. Clyde Drexler again from 3-point land. He has 23. 71-64, Utah.
Cassell trying to see where the screen is and trying to communicate with Olajuwon as he wants to direct Stockton. Stockton looking dead at the shot clock, trying to make sure he's got the right amount of time.
Stockton for 3, around and out. Drexler has it, and that's the way the third quarter will end. Stockton stole it, and it wouldn't have counted. 1 quarter to play to determine who moves on in the Western Conference. We'll come back to Salt Lake City right after these messages and a word from your local station. Welcome back for the start of the fourth quarter. Guest cameraman time, and boy, I tell you, was there ever a bigger force in the middle here in Salt Lake City than Mark Eaton, Steve?
No, they missed the presence of Eaton. That was really the heart of their defense, and it's changed things.
And he takes the opportunity to get a shot of his son across the way. Another big guy in Utah's plans, Felton Spencer. Ruptured Achilles tendon put him out in the 34th game of this season. Future looks pretty good here in Salt Lake City.
Now things are getting much rosier over here. they've got to have this game this afternoon, and they've got an advantage now. We'll see how the Rockets adjust. Drexler trying to use his strength, overpowers Jamie Watson, will get a call there. The Rockets got to do two things. They got to move the ball, move themselves quicker, try to get some free throws, and they've got to rebound. They only got 4 rebounds in that last quarter, and that's not going to win it.
Drexler and Cassell play a little catch, and Cassell casts off. Keith with the rebound. And the nice save by Jamie Watson. Houston hit only 2 field goals in the last 6 minutes and 55 seconds of the quarter, and Cassell guilty of a foul on Stockton.
Cassell is a little pest, and he hits, slaps all the way down the floor, but he's going to try to get away with as much as he can, because a few of those are going to turn into steals. Remember, it was here last year, though, that John Stockton picked his pocket. He said he learned a lesson from that.
Stockton. Watson down the lane. Nice shot. The rookie, Jamie Watson, has 4 points. 73-64.
Ball movement was the key to the Jamie Watson drive. He got Drexler running out at him and just threw a nice floater in over Olajuwon. But Drexler came back attacking Watson at the other end. Jamie Watson, 4 personal fouls. Drexler on the line.
Drexler 2 out of 4. A playoff veteran, he is all of that.
He has been in a lot of playoff games. His numbers have been up. He's been terrific in the games that they have won. They're going to need a big finish from Drexler and Olajuwon because the bench gives them nothing this afternoon.
Clyde has 25 on the day. 73-66 Utah.
Now the Jazz like to control it with Karl Malone. They got things going their way, and they've got the Rockets reacting. Turnover.
The double team. Malone coughed it up. Back comes Mario Elie. Olajuwon down low. Got the basket. Hakeem Olajuwon. He now has 23. 73-68. Houston to within 5.
Results have picked up the body language of the Rockets, are now into it.
Another nice pass down low. Malone to Antoine Carr this time.
That's where they got to beat this double or triple team against Karl Malone from the weak side, and the guys got to dive to the basket. Mario Elie said to the official, "Yeah, Fowler, make sure you don't give them shots. Just don't make sure you put them on the line." Keith, who gave him a big lift, goes out of the ball game.
David Benoit replaces him. Adam Keith has indeed given them a heck of a lift. 2 points, 8 rebounds for Keith. Malone.
Too deep.
And Malone will go to the line again.
Olajuwon puts up his hand. We'll see when they make the call. But you watch the position. He comes out. He's deep in the paint. Right there, there's nothing you can do. Olajuwon comes in late.
And Hakeem has 3 personals today. And back to the line is Karl Malone, where he is 10 of 16 this afternoon.
What we have seen throughout the early rounds of the playoffs has been, even when teams have had leads, they get tentative. They start to stand around. They allow their opponent to get back in the ball game. Jerry Sloan and Karl Malone want to fight this tendency and try to close this game out. So they've got to stay active. They got to move the ball. They got to challenge the Rockets defense.
If Houston wins, the Rockets travel to Phoenix. If Utah wins, Phoenix comes here to Salt Lake City to open the next round.
Well, you know, Phoenix would like nothing better than to open at home, trying to get the ball to Olajuwon. And know that Charles Jones is not a threat. Karl Malone doesn't have to play defense.
Cassell on the drive drew the foul from Stockton. We have a stoppage of play with 9:44 to play in regulation. Utah in the lead.
Michael and the Bulls, Shaq and the Magic. Game 1 next on NBC.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Genuine Draft Genuine Playoff Moment takes us back 10 years to a 1985 Western Conference first round Game 5 between the Jazz and the Rockets. The Twin Towers of Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon led Houston to a 13-point lead in the second half, but Adrian Dantley's 25 points guided the visiting Jazz to a 104-97 win. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. You saw head coach Frank Layden then of the Utah Jazz, and there is Jazz President Frank Layden now, sitting right across the way from us. A funnier person you may not see or meet, as Sam Cassell misses the first.
Cassell has yet to respond in this series and normally handles pressure well. That first free throw looked like a guy that was struggling, gets the second one cleanly.
His first point of the day. Coming up on 9.5 to play in the game. Down low to Malone.
Again, Malone waiting to see what happens. A good read by Olajuwon to make the save, but the defense of the Rockets now is in a reacting position. They are not initiating. They can't keep Malone from getting the ball. They can't keep him from getting it down deep.
6 seconds on the shot clock. Carr on the move. And it's out of bounds to Houston.
Well, Carr had to get that one in the air. He realized that they were going against the clock. Wasn't going to be able to make a pass and see the ball go in the air. So they at least got a shot. Now see, when Olajuwon has the ball there, they have to have some room for him to operate. They didn't, so that makes him come from the outside.
Cassell hits the three. His first three-pointer of the day, 4 on the afternoon. It's a 3-point lead for Utah. Malone, turnaround, fall away, around and out. Carr with the follow. Antoine Carr outfought 3 Houston Rockets for the offensive board. Olajuwon again. This one doesn't go, and Carr has the rebound.
Olajuwon wanted a foul. They get a call against Ellie trying to sneak up and get a charge against Dan Stockton.
Let's go back to a terrific job underneath by Antoine Carr.
They get Malone to miss on a tough fadeaway, and Antoine Carr wanted it more than everybody else, got it up and down. Olajuwon finally got control of this one, but overlaid, thought he got fouled, no whistle.
8 minutes, 10 seconds to play. 77-72, Utah by 5. Stockton down low and then back up top. Hornacek called timeout in midair. Hornacek made the save and called timeout, and it's a timeout with 8:03 to play. Jazz by 5. This is the NBA on NBC.
Coming up after the Jazz and the Rockets, Game 3 of the tripleheader, Game 1 of the series between Chicago and Orlando. Here's a relaxed Phil Jackson doing what he usually does in the locker room prior to the game, working on the crossword puzzle. And the rest of his team and his assistant coaches gathered around him, and they're doing what you're doing right now. They're watching the Jazz and the Rockets, at least some of them. And the scheduled tip-off for this one is 5:30 Eastern Time, so we'll get to it as soon as they conclude their business at the Delta Center. Let's head back out now to Salt Lake City.
All right, Bob, we are watching the Rockets and the Jazz as well, and you got to watch that man. When you get to big games, you look to your big guys, and Karl Malone has delivered so far today.
Big time, and he's making the Rockets defense react. Hornacek against the clock, and they air that one out. So they get a tough, quick shot under pressure. See if the Rockets can come back with a good offensive set and a score.
Houston has just 4 rebounds this entire half.
They want to post up Drexler and make the defense react.
Benoit for the double team. Olajuwon with the shot clock at 3. That one's off the mark. Benoit has the rebound.
Olajuwon had a wide open jump shot and hesitated and then had to shoot something off balance. So he's got to be more aggressive when he gets the ball away from the basket.
Pick and roll. Stockton keeps, dishes for Carr, and it was stripped.
Drexler got that one from the rear, so they get another save inside.
Cassell quickly to the baseline and back out. Ellie, top of the key for 3. Got it. Mario Ellie with his first points of the day. 77-75 Utah.
When in doubt, they come to Malone.
Carl, power move across the middle, draws the foul. Let's go to Hannah Storm.
What happened on that last play with the Houston Rockets, the Mario Ellie jumper, that's exactly what the Rockets want to happen. They see that the Jazz are paying all of the attention to Hakeem Olajuwon. In fact, they're even sending Karl Malone down there to help on him. That's what the Jazz are concentrating on. And the Rockets, Greg, think that they can take advantage of that. They think their spacing on the floor is a lot better. Their body language, like Snapper's been talking about in the huddle, is great. These guys are animated. They still feel like they can win this game, Greg.
All right, Hannah, Karl Malone at the free throw line made his first 7 from there today and has now hit 6 of his last 12.
Everyone wants to know what Karl Malone says, and that has been his secret, but the last thing I'm sure he's saying is make the shot. And he needs to remind himself those free throws are very important. He gets both of them.
Karl and his wife expecting a baby tomorrow. 30 points on the day for Karl Malone. Cassell, and it's batted out of bounds, belongs to Houston.
Now that was a good, surprising, quick drive by Sam Cassell. That's one of the things that he's very good at, doing the unexpected, caught the defense by surprise.
Ellie looking down low, and that's kicked out of bounds by Benoit. And 24 for the Rockets. Houston with Olajuwon, Charles Jones, Cassell, Ellie, and Drexler on the floor. Utah with Stockton, Benoit, Karl Malone, Jeff Hornacek, and Antoine Carr.
They post up Drexler.
Move across the lane, draws the foul. Drexler will go to the line. Now it's before. It is before the shot attempt. The foul is on Hornacek, and that's 3.
Hornacek and Drexler have played a lot. Phoenix and Portland, and now Rockets and Utah. Drexler's always hurt Hornacek down here. They run him off the box.
Cassell, nice pass down low to Charles Jones, and Jones is fouled. A year ago, Sam Cassell was the real spark plug of this Houston surge to the title.
He was. He didn't play like a rookie and played very confidently. He sprained his ankle before the start of this playoff series and really hasn't been able to get into it. Seemed to be better here in the fourth quarter of play.
Jones misses the first.
If ever there was someone you wanted to foul,
Charles Jones now 1 out of 3 from the free throw line in the postseason. And 1 out of 4.
And both of those look like a man that didn't want to shoot free throws. And if you're Jerry Sloan and you've got him out on the floor, you factor that in as the game closes down.
The crowd on their feet. Pick and roll. Stockton keeps, kicks it back. Hornacek, top of the key for 3. Houston.
You're watching NBC, the premier sports television network.
Noisy sellout crowd at the Delta Center. Their Utah Jazz lead it 82-75 with 5:40 to play. You see the timeout situation. Remember, not since 1984 has a defending champion been knocked out of postseason in the first round. That's what Houston's looking at now.
The Houston Rockets have plenty of time to get back in the game. They got to get Olajuwon jump-started again. They get a foul against Antoine Carr, so that'll send him to the line. And then they've got to do a better job of rebounding at the Utah Jazz offensive end of the floor. They've allowed them too many second opportunities.
That's 4 personals on Antoine Carr.
Both teams now in the penalty.
Hakeem, 7 of 10 from the line today. 7 of 11. If balloons bother you, that's a tough field to shoot into.
Yeah, they passed the squigglies out at both ends. They had them at the other end. And now they're down at the finishing end, and the crowd is really into it.
Missed them both. Shot clock is at 6. Malone, follow away, short.
Rockets, whenever they get a chance, they got to take advantage of a bust out, try to get to the other end of the floor.
Olajuwon across the lane, got it. Hakeem Olajuwon with 25. 82-77, Utah. 4:40 to play. Clock at 5. Stockton back out. Benoit for 3. Off the mark. Rebound. Olajuwon. Long outlet. Picked off by Benoit.
Right idea. Just not quite enough height.
The crowd on its feet again. Drexler with the steal. Game, 3:55 to play. Olajuwon. And that basket will not count.
Each one of these stops helps Rudy T. He's looking at the clock. Now he's saying to Olajuwon, you got to make the free throws. 5th foul against Antoine Carr, the big dog. The first big dog.
And Olajuwon has missed his last 4 attempts from the free throw line. The Rockets have missed their last 4.
Olajuwon has turned into a pretty good free throw and a pretty good pressure free throw, but I think the pressure of the moment has gotten to him.
He gets 1 out of 2, and Utah wants a timeout. 3 minutes, 50 seconds for the right to move on. Utah, 82. Houston, 78.
All of these playoff series seem to involve intriguing matchups, none more so than Orlando and Chicago. There's Michael getting ready, and on the other side, some final calisthenics for an extremely relaxed Shaquille O'Neal, if you call those calisthenics. We will see that pair in just a bit. Back out to the Delta Center.
All right, Bob, 3:50 to play in regulation. Houston out-rebounded Utah 22-15 in the first half. The Jazz has out-rebounded the Rockets 15-8 here in the second. They are dead even at 30 apiece. 3:45 to play.
But the Jazz offense is stalled. They've only gotten 9 points. After they got the lead, they started to stand. They haven't moved nearly as quickly. Drexler knocks that one away.
We'll check in with Hannah.
The Jazz are quite happy with what they're doing. Not much went on in their huddle, but interesting in the Houston huddle. Vernon Maxwell used to be the emotional leader of this team. Kenny Smith has taken it over. He was quite vocal. He told his guys, make them make a play. Don't give them anything easy. Greg?
Benoit shot off the mark. Drexler with a rebound, and he busts out for the Rockets. Drexler Drexler to the hoop.
And normally on a bust out like that, you get Drexler moving that way. He's thinking about going all the way to the rim, and they couldn't get there in time. Once he cleared Karl Malone, there's only one thing that Drexler is thinking, that's get to the basket. Stockton tried to draw the foul, didn't get it.
Before Houston acquired Clyde Drexler, there were several teams in the hunt for him, mainly for times like this, because of his tremendous playoff experience, and he wants the basketball.
He wants the basketball. He's capable of making big plays. He always demands a double team against most guards guarding him. So the Houston Rockets feel that they've got a guy that finishes in the open court and helps their half-court set.
2-point game. Jazz 82, Rockets 80, 27 for Drexler. And 3:15 to play. Benoit for three.
Now they let Benoit have the last three shots. He's missed them all. And the Rockets have limited him to one shot. They're trying for the tie with this possession.
We are under 3 minutes for the game. And that looks like Antoine Carr's foul. It is.
Foul trying to get through the screen of Clyde Drexler. Drexler came down, posted with Olajuwon, and you can see Hugh Hollinson just leave the game.
So the Jazz lose a big body, and this is how it happened.
Right here, Drexler's trying to screen Olajuwon. He does so. Now, Carr makes no attempt. Makes no attempt to go around, and is going to go through. I think this is a finesse game. You have to have just a hair of finesse.
Clyde Drexler, 6 for 8 from the line. 7 for 9. And Clyde Drexler goes for the tie. Didn't get it. .2:45 to play. The Jazz looking to end the scoring drought that is now in excess of 3 minutes.
Well, now they're just coming back to the old reliable, and they get a turnover, trying to post Karl Malone. This is what happens when you start to stand and sit on a lead. You get tentative, then you get a breakdown, and the Rockets calling timeout.
Houston has scored 6 straight points, 2:31 to play. The Jazz by 1, and we'll be back. Utah by 1. Houston looking for its first lead since a 45-44 advantage early in the third quarter. Let's check in with Hannah Storm.
Greg, huge expectations with this Seattle team, and Jerry Sloan thinks that they have tightened up. He thinks they've let what's happened to their offense get to them, that they're playing tight. He told them to relax and concentrate on defense, and they'll be okay, Greg.
All right, Hannah. Olajuwon. Tie game.
Olajuwon not happy. Could have had a chance for a three-point play. Lost control of the ball, but he nailed that one right in the heart.
And Akeem goes 2 for 2 from the line on that trip, and Houston leads by 1.
Karl Malone thumping his chest, said, I got this one. So let's see if they bring the ball to Karl too deep. Now, if they get the ball to him there, he came out. He had a good chance to score.
Out of bounds. Kenny Smith knocks it away from Tom Chambers. Chambers has joined Malone, Hornacek, Stockton, and Benoit on the floor. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Stockton. Olajuwon on the board.
Now the Rockets have done a much better job on the board, and the crowd now nervous. They thought they had this thing in hand. The Rockets can go up with this possession.
Olajuwon off the baseline. Got it! 30 for Hakeem Olajuwon. 3-point lead for Houston. 1:35 to play. Stockton looks to Malone. Malone. That breaks a 10-point run by the Rockets. 85-84.
Yeah, The Jazz needed to see that ball go in. See how their defense handles Kenny Smith and the Rockets in this possession. Trying to go to Olajuwon. They got a bad angle to enter the ball. Now they're going against the clock.
And as he made his spin, he was fouled. That shot will not count. The foul is on Karl Malone, it would appear. That's number 3 on Malone. 1:03 to play.
Man, Malone is saying, let me play him. Give me a chance.
Hakeem to the line, 10 for 16 from there today. Big free throw. For Olajuwon. 3-point lead for Houston. 1 minute to play. Stockton to Hornacek. Hornacek fouled as he went into the lane. And the foul is on Robert Horry.
Drexler had him under control. Horry reached in, bailed him out. The Jazz are a nervous team. Nobody wants to make a play, and they just kind of stalled. Robert Horry gives Jeff Hornacek, who's a great free thrower, a chance to move them within 1.
Hornacek is 4 out of 4 from the line this afternoon. Missed it.
A spoon job. Sloan is saying, that's all right, give me one more. Alabama guys facing each other. He doesn't want Benoit to come flying in, and maybe if the ball is missed, tip it in. James Donaldson comes in the game for Tom Chambers. This is for defense at the other end of the floor as they've been coming down to an Olajuwon, and he's been making either the free throw or the shot.
47.3 to play. Hornacek, the second of 2 fall. 2-point game. Rockets 87, Utah 85. Shot clock is at 10. Drexler wants the ball and gives it to Olajuwon. The double team, Chucky Brown underneath, and draws the foul.
They had a cutter diving down the lane, and that was the saving grace. And you can see Cassell thinking, hey, we got this one. Chucky Brown fortunate to get the call because he didn't look like he really wanted it.
Three-point lead for Houston.
Well, as we saw in the Indiana-New York game, when it looked as though the Knicks had it won, no game is over until it is over, and you have some dramatics in Jeff Hornacek, who showed us that before the half.
Chucky Brown hits them both. 89-85, 25 seconds to play. Stockton in a hurry. Down the lane, kicks it back. Malone, three-pointer, top of the key, off the mark. Chambers follows and is fouled.
That first rebound was the one that the Rockets needed to get because that would have had them in possession with a 4-point advantage. Tom Chambers walks to the line.
And Chucky Brown has drawn his 6th personal.
And Rudy getting smaller all the time. He's got one other big guy over there, that's Zan Daba, and Mario Elie going to come in. Wants a good free throw out there, wants a good ball handler. They know that the Rockets, the Jazz are going to try to foul, and if they don't get a foul, they're in an attempt to get a steal, they're going to stop the clock.
75 free throws between these two teams today. They shot 82 in Game 4. Chambers gets them both. And timeout, Houston. 15.2 to play. The Rockets by 2, and we'll come back to Salt Lake City right after these messages and a word from your local station. 15.2 to play. Houston with the lead and the ball, and Hornacek coming up to foul Mario.
Time we had dinner together. Tonight's gonna be
because the Rockets could just throw it around and win the ball game by 2. Now they're going to force Marielli to make at least one free throw.
Mario Elie is 4 out of 4 from the line in the playoffs. This is his first free throw today.
Teaser.
3-point lead for the defending champions. Got them both. Jerry Sloan says timeout.
Yes, timeout.
We remind you, coming up next on NBC, prime time matchup, the finale of our triple header today. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and the Chicago Bulls in the O-Arena to face Shaquille O'Neal, Anthony Hardaway, and the Orlando Magic. That's coming up next here on NBC. You're the Utah Jazz. What do you do?
Well, the Utah Jazz got to give themselves 2 chances to score the ball. And ideally, you'd like to take the first quick score. If you take the quick 2, come back and again foul somebody. If you go for the 3 right away and you miss, they get the rebound. That is the ball game, because then you're going to have to foul again, and the lead is now 5 or 6. So if the 3 is there and you've got a good look and a dangerous guy is Hornacek, we saw him with 0.7 of a second throw one in. Stockton is also pretty good in this situation. Both teams have 1 timeout, but Sloan's concern is a score. They'd like to get a quick one. If you're the Houston Rockets, you don't want to foul. You're willing to give up a 2. You're even willing to give up a 3 for possession of the ball. For them, possession is everything. Kenny Smith, and that's what he's reminding his teammates right now. We got to get the ball back, and then we can go to Phoenix.
You saw the score down in Orlando, 2-2 early on. We will send you down to Orlando as soon as we wrap things up here. 14.2 to play in regulation.
The money people played well today. Stockton couldn't get into the game, but got some help from Hornacek. Malone was huge. Olajuwon, 11 big points in the 4th quarter. And Clyde Drexler. So these guys came to play, and it has made a difference for the Rockets.
Here in the 4th quarter, the Rockets have hit 15 of 22 from the free throw line. Utah been there just 8 times and has hit 7 of them.
Utah turned into their own worst enemy. Let's see if they got something that will save them on a Sunday.
Benoit inbound. Stockton, short. Olajuwon with the rebound, and he's fouled.
They had to. They went for the quick hit to get within 1. That ball comes up short. Now it's free throw time. Olajuwon knows all they need is 1. That gives them a 5-point lead. That's a 2 possession with 10 to go.
Orlando now with a 6-2 lead on the Bulls. And again, we will send you to the O-Arena as soon as we wrap things up here.
And the Orlando Magic got that first win out of the way, and that should be a different team. They kind of played down to the Boston Celtics. Let's see if they can play up to the Chicago Bulls.
Meanwhile, Olajuwon, 33 points, 10 rebounds, 13 of 19 from the free throw line. He missed that one in a timeout by Utah with 9.5 to play. And that is the last Utah timeout.
The defending champions do not join Julius Erving's 76ers of 84. Actually, we'll get back to those long. As they were the defending champions and got bounced in the first round to New Jersey. So somehow, with some good luck and tentative play from the Utah Jazz, the Rockets see themselves advancing, and now they'll play the Phoenix Suns. They feel that they match up very well against the Phoenix Suns. They took them out last year in the semis. They're looking forward to this contest, and Phoenix is playing very well.
And it'll be a well-rested Phoenix team, too.
There is no question. Barkley feels that his team is right on top of their game. They want to make a statement themselves. They get the home court advantage.
Phoenix went 1-3 against Houston this season, but Charles Barkley insists they can't beat him in a 7-game series. You see Orlando with a 5-point lead on Chicago early on at the Arena. When things wind down here, you will see Michael Jordan and company taking on Shaquille O'Neal and the Magic. Rockets 92, Jazz 87.
We just had a shot of Karl Malone, and what he told us at the top of the ball game was indicative of his play. You lay it all out there for the defending champions, and if it isn't good enough, it just isn't good enough. And again, it wasn't good enough today, but Malone carried them as close to a victory as he could possibly get them. Turn out the lights.
9 of 20 from the floor, 32 points, 10 rebounds. And perhaps one final ovation for the Utah Jazz from their fans. Tom Chambers will inbound. Chambers, Benoit, Malone, Hornacek, Stockton on the floor for Utah.
The Rockets want the clock to run, so they want no fouls in this situation. They're willing to give up a basket of any kind.
Malone, long three-pointer is good. 92-90, Houston, 6.5 to play.
Maybe not yet.
Rockets have a timeout to burn. The inbound, Hornacek has to foul Drexler. And Clyde has been more than efficient from the free throw line today.
Is Reggie Miller here? Did Karl Malone just become Reggie Miller? They wanted to give up a shot. Malone wasted no time in torching this one right in the heart.
Clyde Drexler today, 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 of 10 from the free throw line. Jeff Hornacek has fouled out of this game.
So Jamie Watson comes in, not a deep threat there.
Hornacek with 19 points today. Drexler to the line. The Jazz have life. Three-point lead for the Rockets. Here comes Stockton, and fouled by Kenny Smith.
Smart play by Kenny Smith. Very smart. Don't let him even get a chance to shoot the three or get fouled in that situation. Stockton now comes back to the line. He said, Jerry, what do you want to do? Can I make one and try to miss, or should I make them both and come back and foul?
Stockton, an excellent free throw shooter. Points, 5 assists, not John Stockton-like numbers today. He hits the first.
They still got to try to make the basket. There's 3.5. There's plenty of time. You could still get another miss. You could even make a steal on the inbound play. We'll see how they play it, but I think Stockton's looking for a make. No.
Drexler with the ball and draws the foul, and will go to the other end with 2 seconds to play. Stockton clearly went for the miss.
He went for the miss. With 3.5, I think he and Sloan decided that they would go for the gamble, but if he makes them both, it's a 1-point game. And, you know, it makes all the difference in the world. Bulls get off the floor after being down 9-4. A little bit of a run by them. See if Drexler gets both of these this time.
Bulls and the Magic coming up after we finish up here, and Drexler hits that one. Houston 94, Utah 91. 30 for Drexler. 31 for Drexler. And Stockton casts off at the buzzer. It's short, and the defending champions survive Game 5. Houston 95, Utah 91.